How to stop doubting your success.
Mixed signals and emotional manipulation. The nice guy trap and why it doesn't work. When he stays out too late, the whole family pays the price. Financial infidelity, the betrayal that nobody talks about in marriage, guys. The number one relationship hack. You can't fix people with love.
How to stop doubting your success.
Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys, where we are real, raw, uncensored, and
anointed.
Prayer 5.
Prayer 5.
Okay, this is...
Hey, if you guys have never seen the Prayer 5 and you just think we just say it, go watch it on YouTube.
They would have
Where
heard
do we
the
get
clap.
it?
I know. How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
Dookie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay.
All right. This is such a great topic, especially after doing our live event here in Texas, because we talked a lot about fear at the event and really the foundation of overcoming and why it's so important so that you can create the life that you want. And what is so interesting is it's always like when we start talking about certain things at a certain time, you ever notice through the coaching calls, like you get onto something. Connection is a big one, right?
And then you're on a call and then it's the same theme for the whole call.
And sometimes,
you find that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes,
almost every time.
Sometimes for the week, we had one going with basically going through making decisions this last week, right? But at the event, we talked about fear. And last night, I was doing my call, Inspiration 101. It's a free call on our app, go.morrowmarriage.com. So you go to
go.morrowmarriage.com.
Thank you, baby. And
takes two.
Essentially, you got that wrong. Takes one.
Until there's two.
Until
I'm
there's
pretty
two.
sure it takes two for everything that we want to do.
What I mean is, for all you listeners, it takes one. If you're the one that you're the one that leads. Otherwise, they're leading you to divorce, and then that's the part where it takes one until there is two, and then it's two, and you become one. Okay, so we talked about fear at the event, and then I was on a call, and the theme seemed to carry on. And this woman is a woman from your program. Basically, she's on the inspiration call, and she says, what do I do when I have fear and I'm afraid of rejection? But I'm also afraid of the success in the marriage and basically winning, okay? Isn't that a powerful question? Stop and think about that for a second. She's more afraid of being rejected of the things that she wants, let's say conversations, physical touch, trust, safety. She mentioned throughout the call that she doesn't have the opportunity to ever have feelings. It's like he shuts down on her completely. She said stone cold wall, or ice cold wall, sorry. But yet that fear is greater than the fear of just winning, right? First of all, think about how shitty that is, being afraid of winning. I want you guys to understand that most often, that's what we do. We sabotage our efforts so that we don't win.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
So I obviously empathize with this person's fear. It must, like Cass said, it must feel really shitty to be afraid of winning. But like my first thought, and I don't struggle with sabotage as much, I don't think. Would you say? Would you agree?
Oh yeah, I think, yeah.
And I don't know why that is. We all gravitate towards different things that we do. Like I still fuck things up, but sabotage isn't one of the things that I say I struggle with.
Pause. I would say though, everybody has their own version of it. Like if you think about traditional sabotage, you might think of, drinking. You might think of just sitting down on the couch and just saying checked out, whatever, scrolling on social media, going to work, porn.
Not accepting changes.
Yes.
There's lots of ways you can
Lots of ways you can sabotage. I would say though, like even that 2% of yours, the defensive side, are now realizing
don't include the 2%. You guys all know about my 2%. We can't include her. Wow. She sabotages. She does all the bad things. Let's not talk about her for a second. Let's talk about the real me. Okay? But in general, I don't really feel like I sabotage. So the reason I say that is because I empathize with this person who asked this question. I'm afraid of rejection, but I'm also afraid of winning. Even though I have empathy, my first thought was, how stupid. And that's probably, everybody's personal situation comes into play. And I do believe that you sabotage. And I think it's because even though he wouldn't say, I'm afraid of getting what I want, I'm afraid of what'll happen if my wife gives me what I want, somehow when we get closer, there's this something that comes out. It's almost like you're unhappy with peace. Like you need to create chaos. Now that comes from his past. I don't have a past that's like his where I needed to create chaos because I did not live in chaos. We created that with ourselves. And that's something that I'm learning. I need to be reactive. I need to do these things because it allows me to feel alive because I'm learning that I have some emotional inhibition is what I've been told. I'm dealing with complex PTSD. But that's from something that's only been in the last 11 years. But for Cass, when things get calm, he needs to throw a wrench into things, not on purpose. So I think the reason that I'm like, I got frustrated when you gave the example of the woman, especially because I know she's in my program. I empathize with it because that's what happens to you. But I don't know who it is. I could probably take a guess because I know who gets on your inspo calls. Okay. I just want to shake her. when you get what you want, don't sabotage it.
Well,
don't be afraid of it. It's a good thing.
This is where, you guys may have, or you should have heard us say, when you finally get what you want, meaning from your partner, okay, take it. Okay, don't throw a wrench into it. Don't go sabotage it. Don't go say fuck you. Like, we think it's one of the dumbest fucking things you could do when your partner is changing. But the flip of that is doubting your success because you sabotage your success, right? It's proving that you weren't wrong. It's not gonna work, right? On one hand, you have your partner, which you can always then go back to your nature of blaming. Okay. On the other hand, you have the responsibility side that you should take. It is scary to win. I know that might be scary for you, but if some of you I know that might be scary for you. Okay. But the reality is some of you need to actually reflect deep. That sabotage is real. That there is a part of me that goes, whoa, I'm uncomfortable with this piece. But until I recognize it, and actually you hold me accountable quite easily now. But
for which part?
If I'm starting to sabotage, right? This is the direct thing that I have to realize is because of the chaos in my entire life, the only way I knew how to live, the only way that I can maintain success and not doubt it and then strive higher and keep going and I always say you're never done rising, is that I have to be checked either by myself, by Kathryn, by one of my coaches, whatever, where I realize, okay, this isn't actually bad. This is peace. This is just maybe I'm expecting too much now or whatever, because the fear of I'm having trouble talking today. The fear of rejection that this woman is, thank you, that she's faced with, okay? Why? I talked to a man today and he said, my wife says I'm a pervert, okay? And essentially, like, I can't handle the rejection. I make a move, she calls me a pervert. But this man has done so much incredible work with himself. I mean, if you really followed his journey, it's incredible how far he's come with his wife. And that's really, we're getting close to the last struggle of where, intimacy and that gift for marriage is there. But he takes that so personal and he forgets all the success that led, every little step, every next level, the staircase, the ladder, climbing to the top of the mountain, where he just has to come over it now. See, when we're afraid and we doubt our success, we will find ways to, like in this man's case, he'll shut down. He'll talk himself down. We had to talk on the call today to these men about not feeling with the lack of confidence, but how to develop more confidence, because rejection doesn't define you. You know what? Maybe you are dirty. I know I am. I ain't gonna judge you, but we joked with Dennis, and I was like, well, and when my team and Dennis and the family, they all heard like that, Kathryn and I are kind of dirty, and we're doing so. They heard a couple things that we do.
I say like, we're wild. We're not dirty.
We're wild. Yeah, we'll go with wild.
What's the definition of pervert? I don't know. I'm probably one too.
Just insert your own word there. But my point is, I just looked at and said, Dennis is vanilla, and he's like, yep. Why does that matter? He care what we do. We don't care what he does. It's the same with your partner. In fact, a lot of things that I want to do, or that Kathryn wants to do now, Kathryn never wanted to do any of it before, and some of it I never even thought of, but a lot of it I wanted to do a lot, So like, if we can stay away from the fear, what's the success part? The success part is we want that crazy sex life, that wild sex life, that passionate sex life.
Well, it's just, it's indicative that there's disconnection, because I probably thought you were a pervert. I never would have used that word before, I have to be honest. He used to call himself a pervert. And I would get so offended by it, because I'd be like, why would you even say that? Just because I don't want to do what you want to do, doesn't mean that you're a pervert. So I used to get so offended. But now that we're connected, because we had, obviously, you guys know our story, there was lots of trauma, lots of disconnection. Now that we're connected, I'm, like he said, there were things that he didn't even know existed that I'm bringing into the bedroom.
Wow.
And it's because, you're welcome. And it's because we're connected. That's that emotional security, the intimate security,
the
and
safety,
connection, the safety. It's a really beautiful thing. So it's not about he's a pervert or I'm a pervert. It's about what do we want to do together that's consensual and exciting.
Exciting, yeah. And
whether that's vanilla or perverted, it doesn't matter. That's for you guys to decide.
And you're not holding it too. This is just what you do. Like, it's obviously changed dramatically, right? From job sex to lots more intentional sex to mixture of both to fucking wild, and there's like little levels in between. I have a reel actually that went mega viral several times talking about you want more sex with your wife and you feel like a pervert. Or another one was why I feel like a pervert with my wife, right?
And people resonate with that.
They really do. And
wives must be stop calling your husband a pervert. He's not a pervert if he wants you. He's a pervert if he's going and having sex with the neighbor. Now he's a pervert. If he wants to have sex with you, just get over yourself and stop calling him names. Be thankful that he wants to do it with you.
Yeah, well,
try to work on the connection so you can get to the point where you want to do it with him, but stop calling him names about it. That's not fair, you guys.
Well, and a lot of people, men I believe will think they feel like a pervert. That maybe they're not being called a name. You didn't call me a pervert, but I felt like a pervert.
I think that the reason that it resonates is because women are calling their husbands perverts.
It's possible. My point is, like, if you those reels were about the safety you create that unlocks the intimacy, that builds your emotional connection, that makes you more deeply physical intimate, okay? And now, or at least the newer versions of them are, not the older. But now, if you tie this to what we're talking about with the episode, okay? If we all want more of these things, let's just use emotional connection for a second. That might mean that you're starting to try to have a conversation and that fear of rejection overwhelms you. You doubt your success, meaning you go, well, it's probably not going to happen. They always, you start using the absolute, they always just ignore me and look at their phone, right? Okay, so now you talk yourself out of the success and into the fear, and then you do something stupid. Like maybe you say, you never fucking talk to me, another absolute, right? Your phone is more important. Nobody's fucking phone is more important than any fucking human on the planet. Any. Like, we say stupid shit. Maybe you do something different. Like slam your hand down. Maybe you get like me and fucking I would clap in Kathryn's face when I wanted her attention. Sorry, baby.
That's okay. I mean, thank you for your apology. Don't ever say it's okay. Someone apologizes because it's not okay.
Oh, such a good lesson. Yeah, Kathryn taught me that.
I just made the mistake and said it's okay, but it's not okay. It's not okay that he slapped. He did not slap my face. Clapped on my face. Thank you.
What she means now when that happens is different than what we would teach. Just because now I'm not that man anymore. You know, and when she's saying it's okay, she's saying it's okay. We've let go of the past.
Yes. Like, did you hear? I was even like, it's okay. I baby talked to him a little bit because he's apologizing for something that he's apologized for 1,000,000 times.
Right. Okay. So what you need to understand is you can either talk yourself into success, or you can talk yourself into the fear that will remove all opportunity for success. The best way to learn how to do that is to get around people who are successful. Go back to the last episode. Okay, who you let in your life, or into your marriage. Get around people who are successful in what you want. You know, for example, if you want to get rich, you get around people like that. You get around people that will breathe life into you because you need to be carried right now if you're constantly thinking the other way, right? You need someone to lift you, right? If you want a better health, then you're not going to talk to people who just like to eat like shit, or you shouldn't, okay? It doesn't mean you can't talk to them, but then maybe you have to put boundaries in place for what you talk about, right? You know, I'll give you an example. I'm smoking again, but I quit for 10 days. I went from 80 cigarettes down to like none. Not like none.
Crazy.
Okay? And who was it? My videographer has learned a lot from me. And so he walked up the driveway with a cigarette and he's like, oh, sorry. Because he hadn't seen me in a few weeks. And I was like, it's okay, bud. And I pulled out my pack, right? Like, my point is, like, you should be thinking that way, and you should be thinking that way to protect yourself. Because otherwise fear takes over. And this, by the way, is just preliminary. Until you have the skills to not be navigating, to be navigating fear and not be letting fear rule you, for example. That make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You
guys,
always make sense.
Thanks, baby. We'll see you next time.
Bye.